Hello folks, this is Scott. I've been working on a video series for quite some time now, and it's about fear. Mostly my own. I decided to stop out here. I'm in the middle of New Mexico today. It's beautiful out here. It's quiet. It's peaceful. Clouds are wonderful. It's great. Part of this trip was about overcoming some of my own fears because I'm afraid of a lot of things. The older I get, the less afraid I am. And it's not so much because I've conquered anything or became smarter or did anything great or wonderful, but simply because I'm sick and tired of living a certain way. Putting myself in a corner all the time with no way to get out. I'm hoping through this series that you'll find that we can all get out of that corner. I find a lot of people are there, and maybe it's time to do something else. I don't know. All I can say is, out here, I can at least find a moment's content. Something that I strive for all the time, and I find it more and more difficult. So let's go. Let's see if we can conquer fear. Here we are again, folks. Great state of Arizona. We're just outside of Flagstaff on the way to the Grand Canyon. This park is beautiful. Never expected trees like this to be in Arizona. See signs of bears in the area too. Awesome. But anyway, how can you not but enjoy this? The stillness, the peace. It's fantastic. See you in a minute. Hello folks, this is Scott. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, working on my video about fear. I had to come out here because this was remote enough that hopefully you can hear and there's not a bunch of road noise. It's lovely out here. Trees. I like trees. Anyway, this is part of my fear series that I've been working on for quite some time, and what fear is about, for me, is common everyday fear. Anything that stops you from moving forward or doing what you want to do. I've held myself back for many years. I wanted to be a photographer for National Geographic when I was younger. I stopped myself for some reason. Mostly fear and doubt. It's taken me a number of years, but I've overcome most of that fear and most of that doubt. So right at this moment, I'm out doing what I should have been doing for the last 20-something years. And it's great. It's a lot of fun. But over the years, I've found different things have stopped me from doing what I want to do. One thing was my dad dying, then my sister, and mother. But it was mostly when my sister died that I just stopped living, and I kind of gave up. And it wasn't until recently that I decided I needed to make a stand and either do one thing or the other. Either live or die. So, as you can tell, I'm living and enjoying these moments right now out in the boonies. It's fun. Anyway, if you have fears and doubts, I can't tell you how to overcome them. I'm still working on a lot of mine, and I'm getting better with each day. Anyway, see you in the funny papers. Howdy folks, this is another section to our fear video that we're working on. Right now it's about as quiet as it's going to get, and I'm having to shoot with the onboard mic, so the audio may not be the greatest. But today we're standing at the Grand Canyon. It's a beautiful place. A lot of folks here from China, especially some Germans, Israelis, even a few Spaniards. It's interesting how folks from all over the world come here to look at basically a hole in the ground. But maybe it's more to it than that. It's experiencing things that you don't normally get to see. And that's what fear inhibits, is doing things that we want to do, being what we want to be, or seeing what we want to see. It's pretty simple. But maybe I'll figure it out before this trip is over. I don't know. Today I would just like to see an eagle fly over. Saw one already. Didn't have the camera out. Damn the luck. Oh well. I have all day. See ya. Hello folks, this is Scott. I'm in Tucson, Arizona at the moment, shooting one of the last parts of my video about fear. And just out of pure luck, chance, happenstance, whatever word you want to stick to it, there was a movie on shortly ago, and I've referenced this movie in some of the motivational videos that I post. It's 42. It's about Jackie Robinson, first black baseball player in the major leagues. Probably the best, if not one of the best baseball players ever. I'm sure he faced adversity and fear and anger and resentment and a number of other things. All kinds of emotions get mixed together during his career, especially in those early years. But the point to all that is he persevered, and he trucked on, he kept on. Now his number, 42, is retired. So my point is why I'm on my journey right now and why I'm making these videos, or trying to make videos. I kind of forget sometimes because I get distracted by the beauty that I find in the everyday world out there. Zion National Park was tremendous for me. It was great. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And that's when I realized what I was doing, what I was looking for. When I was walking along beside a creek, and I was thinking about getting back to the car to have a drink because I didn't take any water with me, and I walked, I don't know, maybe 10 miles, maybe. That whole day, that is, not just at that moment. But anyway, I didn't have much to drink with me all day, and I was getting thirsty finally. But anyway, it reminded me of being out on the ranches with my dad. I think mostly what this journey has been about for me is reconnecting with him in a certain manner. Being out, walking, because that's what I used to do on the ranches when we had downtime, whenever he'd get done doing everything, and there was nothing to do. There was no television, no newspaper, no computer nonsense. Just, either you took a book or you played with the pellet gun or a gun, whatever gun you had, or you sat and stared at the wall. Well, 90% of the time, Daddy would go sit outside on the porch and just look. I don't know what he saw, but he looked. Well, I'd go for a walk. At least I could go on a small adventure and go see what was over the next hill. Sometimes you'd find something. Sometimes you'd find a snake. Sometimes you'd find a tree, a rock, or a creek. Or a cow just standing there looking at you, wondering what you were doing out there. Didn't matter. Just a sense of looking over that next hill.
I think that's what happens for all of us, is we get to where we don't look over that next hill anymore. We decide that where we are right then and there is where we need to be, and that's the way things are, and we can't do anything about it. We just, this is it. It's as good as it gets. Well, that doesn't work for me. Never has. And it never will. I thought with this little adventure that I've labeled now, it is the Phoenix Odyssey. What I thought I would get from this is I would overcome my wanderlust, and I wouldn't see a need to go any further or go find something new. But what happens is I didn't end up going where I thought I would go in the first place at all. I ended up staying in the desert, of all things, and finding a beautiful forest in the meantime. It's funny how things work out sometimes. Odd. When you're least expecting or looking for something else happens. I keep looking up and over the camera here because there's beautiful clouds outside, and it's rather distracting because I like clouds, plain and simple. But trying to make this into a short, cohesive thing is going to be difficult, and I may have to edit out 90% of what I'm saying right now. I don't know. But after losing sight and making the decisions that I've made in this last year and taking this journey, I know now that I cannot betray the things that I enjoy. I enjoy seeing new places. I really do. With each new place that I found that I enjoyed, it was much more of a thrill than I expected. Zion National Park, really, that was great. Flagstaff, Arizona, that was great. Grand Canyon was phenomenal. And even Fire Valley State Park in Nevada, that was cool. And that park is mostly just rocks, really, literally rocks. But it's also where a number of films were shot, and some TV commercials and some other things. But it was just fun just to hike the hills, climb a rock. And I made comment in another video. I don't know if it'll be included in this or not. Hopefully it will. Depends. But I found it funny that people are out in the desert paying to go out in the desert and climb a rock. It's just odd. But I was doing the exact same thing, climbing a rock, and loving every minute of it. Every second of climbing that rock was fun. It really was. Sitting here right now, staring at these clouds, that's fun. It's not exactly in the place I'd like to be at the moment, but sometimes we just end up in places. We have to stop for a second before we move on. Tomorrow I will move on. Tombstone. Then the Lincoln Park, Carlsbad Caverns, and White Sands in New Mexico. And hopefully I'll enjoy every moment of those two, because they'll be new and exciting and a small adventure for me. Go see something else. Oh well. Let's hope I can turn this mess into something.
Here we are again, folks, out in the middle of nowhere. Drove through Vegas a few days ago. Hated it. Too many people. Too many cars, anyway. Anyhow, after being on this trip for a week, I've kind of finally figured some things out that I've been trying to figure out anyway. That I like this loneliness, this stillness, this quietness out here. There's a handful of other photographers just over the other ridge, back in the other direction. Seems we're the only ones out here this early. We had to wait for the gate to be open before we could come in. shot. So maybe there is something about photographers that's truly common. Separation and finding the beauty in dirt, rocks, sand, weeds. It's basically all it really is, but it takes on its own shape and color depending on how the light falls on it. So the point of that is perspective. Everything's a matter of perspective. When I was growing up, I had a buddy that had real long eyelashes. Cut them all off. One day mother was like, well, why in the world would he do something like that? Well, I know exactly why he did it. He was getting ribbed by the guys that he had long eyelashes. Well, some time passed and he became interested in the ladies. The ladies loved those long eyelashes. He didn't trim them anymore after that. He used them to his advantage. But it was all a matter of perspective. At one time you're getting hollered at for something, or belittled, or whatever. But then you learn to take advantage of it. Use it to promote yourself. But that's how everything works in the world. It's how we look at it. And if I could figure out how to take a really phenomenal picture of where I am right now, I would. But I don't think I can get in one frame what this truly is out here. At 1 second, it's just fantastic how the light falls on just the ridge of a dune and lights it up just for a second. Oh well. This is the last time I'm trying. The wind's blowing, won't stop until I pick up the camera, and then it's crazy. Anyway, almost at the end of this journey. I figured out one thing. Humans like to climb rocks.